I am Jamie Bendel. I am with Vince Tobia. This is Car Connection Radio here on Intelligent Talk 920 WGKA. Our phone number, if you'd like to ask us any question, and I really mean any question. I don't care if you can disguise your name, you can disguise the make and model of your car, you can fudge what your financial crisis is. We'll talk to you honestly, genuinely about your car process, and it's possible that you say, I really want to buy this car, and we may turn you down and say, this is not the right time for you to be buying a vehicle. This is not a correct purchase. If you'd like to speak to us, 770-226-0920. Okay, Michael is calling us from Sandy Springs, Vince. He has a question, and his question is about a hybrid. Does it make financial sense to get a hybrid? Now, Michael, welcome to Car Connection Radio. How are you doing this morning? That is terrific. I appreciate the participation, and I'm assuming by longtime listener you mean since 9 o'clock this morning. All right, you have a question about a hybrid. Now, do you own a hybrid? Do you want to buy a hybrid? We can. Vince, what are your impressions of the market for hybrids these days?
Well, he was correct in saying that hybrids were $3,000 to $5,000, most cases more expensive than a gasoline version. The original hybrids are very small, so if you want something the size of your coffee table to drive around in, that might work. I always felt that the technology has to catch up to the volume that they can sell. So until that time, I didn't think it was financially wise to buy one because the amount of gas you would save wasn't comparable to the cost of buying the car in the first place. So,
well, all cars, obviously, your cost of ownership is a function of miles driven. So I would make the presumption that a person who's making a long commute, let's say your average Atlantan, they live west of Douglasville and they work east of Conyers, okay? They're maybe making a long run every day. They get on that free flow and traffic coming east into the city. They blow through the whole thing, miles back and forth. That cost of the Prius is going to come right down.
But it might take 5 years to do that. By that time, you own it.
But you're loving the environment the whole time. You're doing the right thing for the world.
Jamie, we're going to get on the subject that you and I don't want to talk about here on the air because I know.
Okay, here's the deal. But no. But this Mike asks a great question. So your principal concerns are really no different with a hybrid than the other. Now, there are some who say if you really want to be cost effective, you want to get good value, you don't want to have a tremendous amount of fuel cost, you need to get yourself one of the many, many excellent four-cylinder vehicles. So don't go for the Prius necessarily. Maybe get yourself a Corolla. There was a time when if you owned a four-cylinder car in this country and you hit the gas, the dude in the riding lawnmower next to you was going to go blowing past you.
Well, American cars had problems for years with getting power out of a four-cylinder, but the European cars were basically four cylinders, and a hot rod was a six-cylinder.
All right, so I'm going to go onto the record so far. Mike, I think your question was an excellent one. We do appreciate the call. It does make better financial sense now, but let's talk about the person who says, a couple of years ago was concerned about hybrid technology. I was afraid that I was going to buy a Prius and find out that I couldn't go down to my local AutoZone and buy a replacement battery for my bank of batteries. So now, does it make sense for me to buy a used Prius, 40, 50, 60,000 miles on it? Does that become a good financial purchase?
The problem would be how much does the Prius cost you used compared to that Corolla gasoline engine car? So if the Prius is still too high, maybe 15, 20% more, it's still going to take you a long time to amortize the gas. So I say.
So you're on the fence with Mike?
I'm still on the fence.
He wants to go tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's
he's
his,
excited about the possibility of buying a Prius. You've just created more conflict for him in his mind.
Is Mike still on the phone?
Mike is gone.
Mike is gone.
This is the way the program should work, Vince. Caller calls, excellent question, solicit a little information from them, right?
Yeah.
Then we engage in commentary about their call, hopefully provide them in the right direction, move on to the next one. We already have a second caller. We should have had an over-under on the total number of calls for people who are going to call in to Car Connection Radio here on Intelligent Talk 920 WGKA, where you can reach us right now, 770-226-0920. Do you want to talk to Mike? We're gonna be, before you know it.
Can I just say something, Mike? I think Mike needs to figure out what he's driving right now, and maybe you should keep it a little bit longer. Wait another 6 months. Wait another year if it's possible. That's my comment.
You want him to be patient.
Yes.
Maybe the price will come down a little different.
In fact, it's going to get less. It's not going to get more.
Are you a believer in flex fuels?
Well, when I go to the gas station, I'm getting 10% alcohol or ethanol.
Ethanol.
Yeah, well, I like it or not. So,
hey, here's a question for you, and
what?
This is probably a Sam's Garage question, and so maybe what we'll have to do is you may have to then have me call into Sam's show. Will there be a point at which the ethanol,
something like that.
Okay, content will be high enough that my older car will no longer operate effectively because of the content in the gas?
I think you should get rid of your older car anyway, because it's over 200,000 miles now.
I'm close.
You close?
I had a deal that it was either going to be my 40th birthday or 200,000 miles.
Wow.
And I think I have about a year before both will happen. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's not as though I think I'll be at 40 in a year. I will be 40 in a year. But I don't know whether or not the mileage of my car will be to 200,000 miles or not. Well, now I'm thinking maybe I'll go for 300,000 miles.
You're nuts.
I love my car. Well, here's the thing. Here's my theory, Vince, and hear me out on this.
Okay.
I have the great fortune of being able to go into our dealership on a Monday morning. I have enough cars to choose from there that I can honestly pick at almost any price point for something to drive. And I do drive a lot of the cars that we have in the lot. I'm curious about them. It's something I've never seen before. I've admired on the road. Now we have one at our dealership. You may have the same experience. Now, I still get back in my car and I don't hate it. And my theory is, why would I get rid of something that I still like, even though I just got out of a brand new year-old Lexus? We've located a car for a customer that was a 2-year-old S550, gorgeous car, and yet I got in my car and I still loved it.
That's good, and plus you own it too.
That's the best part. Okay, we are, believe it or not, Vince, up against another break. We have John, who is waiting on the line to speak to us. We're going to grab him when we come back. You're listening to Car Connection Radio here on Intelligent Talk 920 WGKA. Pick up the phone and call us right now. If you're circling the church parking lot looking for a place to park, you want to ask that question, maybe go in and have an hour to think about our answer. 770-226-0920. We'll be right back.
Okay. Jamie is doing a great job. I have to catch up. You cut your hair, buddy.
I did.
So he wants to say hello to us? Someone we know? John, we doing okay?
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
Did you recognize the first caller's voice?
I get when I don't have headsets on. So
Yeah. It was Jimmy Barron.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Who was it? Someone you know?
It was Jimmy Barron.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me that he was calling, but that's
pretty cool.
Yeah. Got a little,
You know what, Jimmy is? He's a guy that supports other radio, because
he's very much so.
Yeah, he supports other radio programs all over the city. He, in fact, I think he used to call the Zone an awful lot with different things. If I remember correctly, listening to him from time to time. But you know what? If you can get the Zone, they mentioned he was Jimmy Barron. You know, so anytime you can
I didn't want because he said it was somebody else. If he said he was,
But but if they're going to give him a free plug on their radio station, you take it. You know. So